In that third inning for Kennesaw State, but a crazy end on that line shot to right by Terrence Norman, and you see Williams, he thought the runner ahead of him was going to try to come home, but Chabot held up at third, so as a result Williams out 9-5, 6-5 if you're scoring with us at home, and as a result the Tigers able to limit the damage, but still Kennesaw State able to cut that Clemson lead in half and make it a 4-2 game as we head to the bottom of the third.
Yeah, back in this ball game, and you know, Kruger came in and did a nice job in his first inning of work to keep the Tigers at bay, and it allows the Kennesaw State to just claw their way back into this ball game, and that's what they want to do. They just want to kind of hang around and have an opportunity to win late.
Ryan Wesley now the third pitcher in as many innings for Kennesaw State, and the right-hander making his 12th appearance on the year. 2-1 in the season, a 5.11 earned run average, and you see as many walks as strikeouts in 12 1/3 innings worked, and he'll try to keep it right here as Jordan Kruger did in the second inning.
Well, I was wrong about what I said. I'm really surprised that Kruger didn't get back out there, and they wanted to maybe get a couple of innings out of him.
So longtime coach of Kennesaw State, Mike Sansing, what a job he's done. He's got a .634 winning percentage at the school in his 27th season. He arrived in 1992. The program was 8 years old. In his third season, they won the NAIA national title. A couple years later, they made the transition to NCAA Division II. They win the national title. Then he oversaw the transition to Division I, and in 2014 they made it to a super regional where they went up to Louisville and lost in a couple of games there, but still he has brought this program along, and as we noted, he's had some guys go on to pro baseball and eventually the major leagues, and he's also had some folks coming who had signed but then got drafted and went on to become major league players as well.
Well, you know, this is a team that in my time at Furman, we never played them, and it just you know, it's a long drive to Atlanta for a midweek game, and number one, number two, they're pretty daggum good.
Yeah.
and number three, no, you know, that people don't know that they're good.
That's right.
You know, we'll go play Georgia Tech in Atlanta. You know, if you win a ball game there, it's great. If you get people say, well, it's Georgia Tech.
Kyle Wilkie, who walked his first time up, coming in red hot. He had a 3-hit game against Friday, and that sent him on his way to a 6 out of 14 weekend at the plate with a homer and 5 driven in against Wake Forest as the Tigers swept the Demon Deacons. Skied to left, going back on it is Bryant at the hill. The wall leaps and it's gone. Kyle Wilkie, another homer, his third of the year, and the Tigers get a run back. It's 5-2.
Boy, looked like a breaking ball that was up, Pete. And boy, is Wilkie seeing the ball well. He laid off a couple really good pitches in his first at bat, and then he took that, what I believe was a breaking ball, looked like about belt high, and he deposited that into the left field grandstand.
First homer allowed this season by Wesley. It comes against the first batter that he faces out of the bullpen here in the third.
Kind of a hanging breaking ball over the middle third of the plate, and you see the guy in the first row there making the error, but he did give it to his son.
Some of the fans have not been as sure-handed as we would come to expect.
Well, you know, his dad needed to have the glove on.
So a very rude greeting provided by Kyle Wilkie to the third pitcher of the game for this Kennesaw State staff, Ryan Wesley. And the junior out of Smyrna, Georgia, trying to attempt to restore some order as Cromwell stands in, and Cromwell drawing the bases loaded walk in the first inning, and thus picking up his 18th RBI on the season. That home run by the Tigers, their second hit in the game, and now on the year, 58 home runs, and this their 41st game as a team.
Clemson's only hits have been the long ball variety. But when you mix in, what, 5 or 6 walks, you've got 5 runs.
It's been 9 days since Wesley's been on the hill, and he picked up a win Well, I'm sorry. It's been just a few days since Wesley's been on the hill. He actually picked up a win over the weekend against Lipscomb. Came in and walked a couple of batters, but still was credited. If their stats are showing correctly here. Nonetheless, not the opportunity. He actually had a no decision in that game, but not the kind of thing he wanted to do to start out when his team had just gotten back in the ball game with those 2 runs.
Yeah.
But he is ahead in the count here on Cromwell, 1-2.
You look at the team statistics. They've walked 191, 197 hitters now. It's quite a few.
And ripped up the middle by Cromwell, who's now 1 for 1. He's reaching his 2 plate appearances, and the Tigers continue it here to start out the home third after the homer by Wilkie. Single by Cromwell, and Drew Wharton will stand in. His sacrifice fly. Bring home yet another run in that first inning as the Tigers had the 4 spot. Wharton second on the Tiger team with 31 driven in this season. And a good job by the catcher to stop it. Throw down by Sears to second, and Cromwell, not sure that he necessarily would have been out the first time, but it looked like Williams might have gotten him on the tag back with a quicker attempt. That's a wild pitch. And take a look. Looks like he slides past the tag initially, but then Williams might have, with a quicker move, he might have been able to get him not once, but twice. Ooh, and then he pushed him off. Out. Wow.
Yeah, he's off the base and sticks his foot back. That angle doesn't show it, but his foot was off the base.
Nonetheless, a man in scoring position once again for the Tigers. No one out here in the third. Off-speed pitch fouled away. The count evens at 1-1.
Well, they are. Clemson is really. I don't know if they're looking for that breaking ball from Wesley, but they've had some really good swings. Wilkie with the home run on a breaking ball, and that was a good hacking. There's another one up the middle,
and it'll get through. Cromwell will be waved. He'll come around to score, and the Tigers responding to the 2 spot in the top half of the inning by Kennesaw with 2 so far here in the home third. Back out to a 4-run lead at 6-2, and Wharton now a couple of times to the plate and a couple of RBIs, and now he's 1 for 1 in the game.
Good job of keeping the ball up the middle, and of course, unless you've got one of these shifts on, you hit the ball up the middle, you've got a chance. Hit the ball hard up the middle. Keep it up in the middle of the field.
32 driven in now for Wharton this season. Here's Green, who walked in the first inning, was left stranded. And that one again down in front of Sears, and he won't even attempt to throw. So a second wild pitch moves another Tiger runner into scoring position.
It's just really tough to keep a team like Clemson or any good baseball team from scoring runs when, number one, you walk people, and then number 2, you give free bases with wild pitches or passed balls or even an error like you saw in the second inning with Chabot.
86 miles an hour on that pitch. Still no one out here in the Tigers' half of the third inning. Jordan Kruger gave them a scoreless second inning out of the pen.
You heard me say I thought they would stay with him for as long as they could, but maybe they felt like, hey, we really like the way he's throwing, and we're going to keep him around for the big conference series.
This weekend, I don't know. Yeah. Mike Sansing, his team, they feel like if they can go win the series down at Florida Gulf Coast this weekend, that would put them at 11-4 with 6 games to go.
Yeah.
In their conference. They've got New Jersey Tech coming in for 3, and that's a series they feel like they probably could sweep, and then another tough trip to Jacksonville the following weekend. Ball club, it's kind of been a work in progress. They've dealt with some injuries. Taylor Allen's a really good player for them, an outfielder, but he's been out most of the year with an oblique, and they're not sure if or when he'll return this season. They're trying to hang around in this game right here, again down by 4 runs, and Green with the late call for a strike. And
Sears did a really poor job with that pitch. That was, I mean, he did not stick that one at all, but it looked like a good pitch.
And Wesley is 2-1.
Well, Wesley is a slider machine. That's all good until your elbow starts hurting.
Came to this program from Gordon State College, so it's his first year pitching for Kennesaw State. For Wesley. Fouled out of play, count even again at 2-2.
He's got, I mean, he's getting it up there 90 miles an hour. He's got that good looking slider.
But nearly 20 pitches so far in this inning, and you have to record now.
That slider again.
Kennesaw State annually plays Georgia Tech and Georgia. They've gone 0-3 combined against the Bulldogs and Yellow Jackets this year. We got this home and home with the Tigers here tonight and the next month at Kennesaw. Earlier this year, they lost 2 out of 3 to Oklahoma, but they did get a win over the Sooners out in Norman. They lost a couple of games at home first week of the season against Minnesota, so they have played their share of Power 5 programs so far this year. Runner going, and Green swinging, skying to right field. Under it is Norman, returning to tag and making his way over to third, sliding in safely and somewhat acrobatically, I might add, is Drew Wharton. That was interesting. He was about 3/4 of the way to third base when contact was made by Green, had a sprint back to second, and then a dead sprint tagging up, and he's at third with 1 man out.
Really good hustle by Wharton. You just love that effort. I mean, he got, you saw that Simon, the third baseman, tried to deke him on the swing, but Wharton did a great job of just putting the brakes on and running back, tagging up, barely got there on time as the ball was caught by Norman, and then hustled back to third. Great job. Good hustle to get that runner to third base with 1 out.
Third time at the plate in as many innings for Kier Meredith, the freshman, playing left field tonight with Wharton in center. And it's Wharton who's 90 feet away. Meredith walked and scored in the first, and he popped out to the second baseman later in that inning. This time he grounds to second. Williams, nothing he can do except throw on to first, so a fielder's choice RBI, and the Tigers add a third run in the inning and have their biggest cushion of the night, a 5-run advantage now at 7-2.
Yeah, there's the significance of that hustle by Wharton to get to third base with less than 2 outs. And then Green doing a nice job of putting the ball in play and getting the RBI for the Tigers.
4th run batted in for the left fielder Meredith on the season. Here's Davidson. Hit a 2-run blast in the first from the right side, up now for a second time of the game from the left side.
That's the tough thing about being a switch hitter. You're the first time up, you're really seeing the ball well and hit 1 out, and then the rest of the game you're probably going to hit left-handed.
With the lefty starter Dupree being followed by the right-handers Kruger and now Wesley.
I was a switch hitter, but I never had to worry about hitting a home run and then switching it over.
That one to shortstop. Chabot plays the second hop. Fast man running, gets him by a step, and that'll do it for the Tigers here in the third. But after seeing Kennesaw State pull within a couple of runs, Clemson gets 3 in their half of inning number 3, a 7-2 Tigers lead.